morning, class. Today we are starting our disease unit. Oh my god, so exciting. So our main goal this quarter is to learn about pandemics and how they can really just shake up your whole entire world. We are going to be looking at a real life encounter that happened way back in the 2020s. If you all could just put on your virtual reality glasses and we are going to go to the virtual classroom. This happened way back when we actually had phones that you used to type on and stuff. It was like a physical phone that you actually just did stuff on. It's not like your fancy glasses you have now. The way I grew up back in the day when we had actual phones to look at. And when I was in school, we had these things called Chromebooks. Have you guys heard of a computer before? Well, it's like a computer, but you can touchscreen it. But I know you guys love your virtual classes. Hey, Jimmy, what did I say about doing games on your VR glasses? Remember your parents told you, if you don't get a good grade in this class, then you're gonna go back to your actual phone. Yeah, I know. No one wants to be on their phone. We all want to be on our VR glasses. Okay, but focus. So, we're gonna go back way back into 2020. The pandemic first started globally in March. And everyone was completely panicked. And we had to stay in our houses for... well, it depends on what country and who you were. But we had to stay in our houses. We couldn't leave. I know y'all love staying at home and having optional virtual classes just through your little glasses. But we didn't have that option. We had to learn from, the back olden days computers. And it was hard on people's mental health. It's a very, painful memory for a lot of people. But now that we are in 2047, we don't hopefully have to worry about that. That being said, COVID-19 was the biggest thing to shake up our world. Everyone had gone crazy, had gone mad, and everyone realized that the world was completely betraying you, and everyone had opinions, apparently. No one knew that before 2020. If you guys could just go to the next slide on the virtual slideshow, and we could talk about the rest of the pandemic. Okay. Well, before we go further into our disease discussion, does anyone have any questions? Yes, Maria.
Who was the president at this time?
Who was the president at this time? Well, obviously depends on what country, but in the US, it also depends on what year. Next question. Yes, Joey.
Well, you're not a teacher. You're not really expanding on this very much. My mom was a scientist back then. She's as old as you. You're pretty old.
Okay, that's enough, Joey. No one needs to hear about your scientist mom, okay? We have been there. But, yeah.
When did it even end? What?
Okay, does everyone understand how everyone has different opinions?
What does that have to do with anything?
Great. Okay, well, when it comes to when the pandemic ended, there's no scientific answer. Just depends on who you are. Next question. Anthony, yes.
I'm sorry. I'm a little late with this question, but a little while ago you asked about phones.
What were phones? Phones were these rectangular thingies where it had a screen on it and we just did stuff. Kind of like our glasses, but a physical thing, not virtual reality, Next.
Did y'all even have NFTs back then?
You're just gonna blurt it out. Okay. Yeah, but everyone was really confused about them. Unless you really did your research, you had no idea what they were. And it really didn't come until the third year of the pandemic. Maybe we should move to the next slide. So, we are going to now learn about quarantine. See, quarantine was a thing where you would go into your houses for... well, it really depends. I don't know how many days. It just depends on what time period and who you were and what's your vaccination status and all that kind of stuff. But you just were in your house for a long time and you weren't allowed to come out because you might spread the disease. So we're going to start. I know this is not math class and this is science class, but we're going to go to the next slide and you're going to see a bunch of word problems, okay? And you're going to decide how many days that person needs to quarantine, okay? So... let's go to the next slide. If Joey went to a party on New Year's Eve in 2021 and a person a couple of days later at that party tested positive with COVID, how many days does Joey need to quarantine? Now, I have 5 articles that you can read about each period of time that the CDC changed how many days you need to stay. And then also, after we figure out how many days you need to quarantine, we're gonna figure out how many days you are required to wear a mask so you don't spread it. Because masks were a big debate back then, because like everyone was like, masks don't work in early 2020. Then people were like, oh, masks do work and we need to wear this all the time. And then people didn't want to wear masks, so they just didn't, even though it was law to wear a mask in certain states. And then we didn't wear masks for a while when it got a little better, and then we had to wear it again because then it got worse. And then again, no mask, and then mask. So we really just went back and forth. So we're gonna look at a ton of articles to see what time period this was in the CDC guidelines. Okay, so you guys can start on that, and I'm going to be giving you all some more information about what we did during those times. When we were at home, there's a lot of different stuff that happened. A lot of people turned to banana bread, you know? It was a real thing that people really loved baking because they were bored at their house. We also had social distance gatherings. Oh, that's another question on your next slide. How many feet do you need to social distance if you were Joey in that situation? Now, again, we're gonna have to look at more articles to see what period of time was this, to see how many feet you need to stay away from someone, you know? And then you also gotta look at the country, you know? Some countries do 10 feet, some countries do 6 feet, schools do 3 feet. Like, it was a lot. Something. We're gonna do that. And I know this is a math class, but this is important scientific work that scientists were studying for years and years and years, and we're really just gonna figure it out. So, like we learned in history class, and I know this is science class, but like we learned in history class, if we don't learn history, it's gonna repeat. Oh no, please don't repeat. Okay, well, there's this time where if anyone went anywhere, they coughed, everyone would just stare at them, be like, COVID, and they would just run, and they would be so scared of contracting COVID. It was very scary, and yeah. Well, that's it for class today, everyone. Make sure you do your homework. Make sure you figure out all Joey's stuff, how much he needs to quarantine, how many days he needs to wear a mask, social distancing, all that kind of stuff. That's for your homework. Don't be scared if it takes you about 3 or 4 hours to figure it out. But that's what's today's class. And remember, tomorrow we are going to be talking about, well, let's leave that as a surprise so I don't give you all nightmares. Okay. Hey guys, it's Anya, not the traumatized teacher from before. I know this was like a fun little skit I wanted to do, but I also just want to say, if any healthcare workers are watching or anything like that, I just really want to say thank you for everything you've been doing the last 2 years, and everyone who's been a frontline worker, or anyone, even like, I don't know if any of them are watching, but if they are, I want to say thank you so much for everything you've been doing. And I also just want to say I'm sorry to all the families who have lost someone the last 2 years, 3 years, how long it's been, I don't know if you, but I just want to say I'm so sorry, and your thoughts are in all of our hearts. Anyone has gone through this year, whether it's their own mental health or they've lost a loved one or anything like that, and I just want to say I'm here for you, and I really hope you liked this video and got a bit of a laugh out of it after these hard couple of years. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next Friday.